What's up, everyone? Steve Zetro Souza from Exodus. Please support Moshin The Roof On and help loudly combat homelessness. Now, this is awesome. Go do this. Go get this record. This is a really good deal. Ukthrashers, you guys are fucking awesome, man. What a great thing. Horns up. See you out on the road soon.
Okay, we're back. Apologies for those who didn't get to hear last week's episode that we had to pull due to reasons beyond our control. But let's start things off with the same track we started last week. This is the band Repent and War. was the band Repent from Jasper, Wyoming. Next up, a second international band for this week. We review these guys on the side. They're from Gothenburg, Sweden. This is Ominum, nearly said it wrong, and the Crescent or the Cross. Okay, next up is a track from our interviewed band of the week. This is Bloodmores, The Seeds of Seasons, their debut album. This is called The Circle of Betrayal.
Thrashers. This is Chris from Trapped in Purgatory, and you're listening to the UK Thrashers radio show. Get in the pit!
Okay, this week in the virtual studio, we welcome Bloodmores. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Do you want to introduce yourself? And, of course, the missing members of the band, at least they get a name check.
Yeah, so no worries. Hi, everyone. I'm Alex from band Bloodmores. I'm the guitarist and vocalist. And the missing members are Richard Jodwell, our lead guitarist, Connor Healis, our bass player, and Chris Mansell, our drummer.
Cool. So where are you guys based? Where's kind of home stomping ground?
Me and Chris live in Great Harwood, which is just near sort of Blackburn and Accrington. But Connor and Rick are from Blackpool.
Okay. So you're in that kind of just outside the Greater Manchester area. Sort of.
Yeah, we usually just say like Northwest based or Lancashire based. We don't really have a set hometown. We just say, like I say, Northwest or Lancashire.
So how long have you guys been together as a band? How did you all get together in the first place?
Been together since like the full lineup since just before we released our first album, The Seeds of Seasons. Me and Rick we're sort of like writing that, way before. It took a while to get things off the ground. We actually, me and Rick met like once before we got the band together and didn't realise until we sort of got talking about it. But we actually met at a Trivium gig in Manchester. That was our sort of first meeting, and we didn't realise until sort of a mutual friend put us in contact when I was looking for a second guitarist for a new band project that turned into Bloodmores, and we got talking about influences and gigs we'd been to, and then realised that we'd both met at Trivium. Rick introduced me to Connor, who then joined us on bass, and because Chris only lives like down the road from me, I knew him. And when we were sort of getting serious and starting to look for gigs and things, I asked him if he'd be interested. We had a jam, some of the tracks that we'd done for the first album, and he was interested and he joined us. And yeah, that's sort of it, really. That's how we got together.
Cool. So how would you describe the Bloodmores sound? Because you kind of, sometimes you get tagged death and sometimes you're thrasher. Do you kind of think you're on that border?
Yeah, we usually describe it as a mixture between the two, like thrash or melodic death metal. We were just saying thrash at first, but some people go, no, I think you're more this. But then we all have like quite a wide range of influences, and there's like some metalcore in there. There's like classic heavy metal, death metal. So there's a lot of sort of subgenres going on. It's not really pinned to one. We never sat and went, we're just going to play this type of music. We're open to a lot of influences and sounds, really. So somewhere between thrash and melodic death metal is our usual sort of tag.
Yeah, just kind of, yeah. It's a catch-22, isn't it? You want to pitch yourself to a genre that people want to listen to. So you're going to, if you like bands like X, you might dig what we do.
Yeah.
But in the same light, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into the point that, well, I don't listen to that, so I'm not. I only listen to thrash, I don't listen to death, so fuck off. I guess it's a bit of a balancing act.
Yeah.
So what about those influences? Obviously, you started with Trivium. Where else does your kind of eclectic mix go?
So yeah, Trivium's one, like, obviously we all share a bunch of influences, but then we've all got our own sort of like personal favourites. But yeah, Trivium will be a shared one that we're all into. But like more sort of personal ones, like for myself, I'm really into Hypocrisy and The Agonist are like two of my big influences. Rick's really into like Exodus and Silosis and like As I Lay Dying. It's like, that's sort of, thrash and metalcore. Connor's really into like Devil Driver and the Black Dahlia Murder are two like really big ones for him. And I really like Cattle Decapitation as well. And then Chris is like, I'm sure it's his favourite band that's Judas Priest he's really into, and he's really into Rammstein as well. And then I know that Lamb of God's a big influence for him. He loves Chris Adler from Lamb of God's a big influence for him. So again, there is quite a mix going on.
Yeah, and that kind of comes together in the melting pot to produce your sound, I guess.
Yeah.
So the first album was that 2019? The first album came out.
Yeah, February 2019 was the first one.
So that's been kind of doing the rounds quite a bit. And I guess, did you manage to get out and play some shows off the back of that?
Yeah. So our first show was about a month after we released the album. So, and yeah, we've done a few since then. We've had the chance to go up to we've been to Scotland, and we've been around the northwest a bit. We haven't ventured down south yet, though. We've not had the chance to do that. Hopefully, when things start calming down a bit, we'll be able to take some material off the second album down there. What
about you guys as a whole? Had you all been in other bands, or was this the first kind of serious project that you'd all done?
Yeah, we've all been in. I mean, that's one of the reasons that it took so long to get off the ground. Me and Rick were writing stuff for this, but we were both in other bands, and this was sort of like just put on the sideline, and we couldn't really concentrate on it. But now neither of us are with those previous bands. We only concentrate on Bloodmores, so we can get a lot more done now that we've not got anything else. Not in the way, I don't want to insult, previous bands that we've been with, but we can fully concentrate on this now.
Yeah, I guess sometimes if you've got multiple bands with slightly different focuses and, it's difficult to give everything the attention it deserves. Unless you're a drummer, and then you can be in 12 bands at the same time, it's fine.
that's usually the case, isn't it?
It seems to be the way, doesn't it? That first album kind of was that received quite well? It seemed to be picked up on reasonably well by people. It's always difficult as a new band anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when we booked that first show, we only had a single released, so it was quite hard to try and get bookings, and we were like really grateful that someone, took a chance on us when they'd only heard one song. But yeah, it had really good reception, and there was like, I think it was like a Brazilian website had it listed in their like top 10 thrash albums for the year and stuff, and it was crazy that we were up there with like, it was just insane, because we were looking and going, we were up there with what are they called now? This is going to really annoy me because it's one of Rick's favourite bands and I've forgotten what they're called off the top of my head. Oh man, I'm going to go on my iTunes right now and find them. Death Angel. Bloody hell, that took me forever.
Oh,
sorry, Death Angel.
Flipping out. Okay, so he kind of he was a bit gobsmacked that he was on the same kind of top 10 as one of his some legends in kind of thrash.
Yeah. Obviously, a well-respected thrash band.
Flipping out. So kind of moving on to you know, a lot of bands leave a lot of time between their albums, but you kind of seem to have got straight back onto the horse. Was that kind of lockdown induced, or just that you kind of the creative juices were flowing?
Lockdown actually pushed everything back. It would have been earlier than this. We were scheduled to start recording drums like a week or two after the initial lockdown was announced, and so we had to stop everything because everything closed. So I think we were supposed to record in like April or something. It didn't happen until July or whenever it was, or August, whenever we got recording.
When we had that little mini break from being locked at home.
It gave me a chance to like finish up like some lyric ideas and stuff. But like the first album we had written and a lot of like the instruments and stuff recorded for ages before we like finished the vocals and got it out there. So even though we had the track listing for that in place, we were still writing other stuff. And so a lot of that went onto album 2. Right. So a lot of it was sort of written before album 1 was even out. Like,
yeah. So album 1 was really a kind of catch up of everything you'd already kind of done.
Yeah.
And you're already working on the second because, that hadn't gone anywhere.
Yeah. So when you say it was quick between them, that was just because we had so much material ready, straight away almost.
So, kind of going into that a little bit more. Obviously, the new album, Too Close to the Sun, has got a kind of a connotation about Icarus and all that sort of stuff. Is it concept from that point of view, or is it just that's a kind of the one of the takeaway tracks from it?
It's not a concept album in that each song like flows from one to the other, but the title Too Close to the Sun, we had all the tracks in place and they all had titles, and we didn't have a name for the album decided on. And so, we threw around a few ideas, and then we sort of said, look, Too Close to the Sun as a track, like making it a title track sort of works. It sort of encompasses all the different themes that are on the album. And, everyone agreed, yeah, that sounds really good. And, we thought that we were in quite a good position that it's like a well-known phrase already. And so it would already be familiar to people as soon as they hear it. It wouldn't be like, I don't know, you see some tech metal band that's got a crazy long name of something. And that's not something that I'm really into. Yeah. So, yeah.
You can kind of relate to, as long as you paid a little bit of attention at school, you can kind of relate to kind of the Icarus reference straight away, at least in that title, can't you? And then obviously the artwork compounds that anyway. So who did the artwork for you? Because it's a really nice looking. Yeah, is it a painting originally, or was it digital?
Digital painting. Yeah, it was done by Mitchell. I hope I'm pronouncing his second name right. Nolte or Nolt. I just found him online while looking through, looking for artists for album artwork, and immediately his artwork just stood out. I was like, wow, this guy's incredible. We've got to get him on board.
But that was a complete new. It wasn't just flick through his resume and pick up a picture. It was a kind of.
We got him to do it from scratch. I just went through all his. Yeah, went through all his previous work. I'm like, this is the sort of style that I'm looking for. And I sent him like a really rough idea of what I had in mind, and then he worked on that
and turned it into that. Yeah, it's really nice. It's a really striking image, isn't it?
I love it. I'm so happy with it. It's like,
yeah, it's an expensive business to print that on a t-shirt, though.
It would be, yeah, a lot of colours.
It's always that toss up, isn't it? Though, I want a really awesome album cover for the physical copy and just sitting me Spotify stream, but fuck, I'm going to have to pay for someone to put 9 million colours down onto a screen print to get it out the door.
Yeah, I'm not really into... albums like on a t-shirt, I like standalone designs, which is obviously all of our shirts are like that. That's kind of the reason for that. I'm just more into a different design to it. Like, I have a few album cover t-shirts, but of the two, I just prefer a standalone.
Something that sits in its own merits, that maybe links to the song, or kind of something more about the band.
The 3 shirts that we have, each piece of artwork is based on a track, and that's the kind of thing I like.
So what about the songwriting process? Who does kind of what in the band with regards to the writing process?
A lot of the music, like guitar-wise, on the second album is Rick. He is like an absolute riff machine. He sends me like too much stuff to work with. I do all the lyrics, and there's a few tracks, obviously I don't just play Rick's tracks. There's a few tracks that I've written guitar for, but the majority of tracks, he'll send me like a huge folder, say on like Dropbox, and go, do you like any of this? Is any of this usable? And I'll listen and go, oh, this one sounds like, this bit could be a verse, this could be a chorus, this could be, a guitar solo could go over that. And he just sort of sends me, a million ideas. And then I'll like structure it into a song and go, I think this bit should be this section and this should be this. And then we work from there, really.
Try and join the dots sort of thing.
Yeah.
And what about the other lads? Are they kind of, do you kind of go, here's your guitar bit finished and give it to the bass and drums to kind of hold it all down then?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they both do their own parts. If I'm doing like a demo from home or something to show them, the direction it's going in, I might throw down something like a simple drum beat. Go, this is what I imagine, just using MIDI drums or something. This is what I imagine would work. And then Chris will either go, oh yeah, that's quite cool, I'll work with that. Or I'll go, oh, actually, I think it could do such a thing. And a lot of the time when he does that, I go, yeah, that's way better.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just throwing down a really simple idea.
And then vocals, are you the lyricist?
Yeah, I do all the lyrics and all the vocals. The other guys, like Connor's expressed some interest in writing lyrics, but he's not done any yet. I've obviously no issue with that if he wants to write some. I've just said, please bear in mind that I'm playing an instrument as well and don't do anything too crazy.
I guess especially with you doing both of those jobs, it kind of sticks in the back of your mind a little bit that fucking hell, I've got to sing and play this at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, that was the case for the second album. I went, I have to do both of these. But on the first album, when we were just sort of writing the music together, we had intended to have a standalone vocalist. I wasn't going to be the front man. I might have done some backing or whatever here and there. But obviously we tried a few guys and was people that, like are good, but don't have the time to commit, or like you've got the ones that just don't turn up at all. And in the end, I went, I'm going to give it a go myself and I'll do a demo and see what happens. So I did a couple of tracks and everyone went, yeah, we're happy for you to be the vocalist. And then you've got the issue of go, right, I didn't intend to be doing vocals over certain riffs. And you go, man, this is really hard to do both of them.
Does that, as you say, you've kind of thought you've come into album number 2 thinking about that a little bit more, but, do you balance that by kind of, right, I'm going to simplify this bit a bit because the second guitarist is going to pick up a bit more of the slack while, because there's a complicated vocal, or do you just do it and then work out how you're going to play it later and just kind of work hard at it and make it happen?
I mean, there's no sections where I've gone, oh, I'm going to make this intentionally simple just so I can, it's easier for me to play. Any parts like that would really be choruses with lead lines. Rick always plays the lead and I'll play the rhythm because obviously it's a bit much for me to be doing lead and vocals. But any verses or pre-choruses or anything, there's no parts where I've gone, I'm going to make this a bit simpler. I'd rather, work a bit harder and put some effort in and go, yeah, that sounds really catchy. I'm really happy with that.
So the songs on the album, kind of obviously the title track. What are the other kind of tracks about? What's the kind of the breadth of the topics that you cover? So,
like I say, each one's its own thing. It's not really a concept album, but I'll just run through some in order. So, like the opening track, Virulence, is just about sort of like the amount that we like inhibit our own sort of potential, I guess, and the way that I'm trying to think of the best way to describe what I've gone for in this. Like I say, like we have sort of as a species the potential to be better than we are, and like we know that we're doing certain things wrong in regards to like, I don't know, climate change or things that we resources that we use, and yet we continue to use them incorrectly, if you will.
Like self-sabotage.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. So Virulence is about, how infectious we are to ourselves, sort of thing, how much we inhibit our own potential. The second track, Terminal Diagnosis, that's sort of like, it's kind of like follows on from Virulence, but in a more sort of intense way. And it's sort of like, if you were looking in from the outside at what sort of we do to the planet, if you were looking at, say, a virus or something that was doing that to a person, you would sort of go, wow, this is killing them. They're really in trouble here. And that's sort of where the Terminal Diagnosis name comes from. The track after that, Entombed, we just shorten it down to, because that's the one with a really long name. That's just sort of about like asking the question, are we like doomed? Are we, are we going to fix ourselves? Are we going to, change enough to sort of sustain, if you will? Are we, trying to think, I'm so bad at this. It's sort of, asking ourselves, is this the end? Is this like, because you see, climate change is affecting the world. We're running out of various resources, and plastics are filling up the oceans and stuff. You go, is there the chance that we can change it, or are we just too far gone?
So is it a foregone conclusion? And
that's sort of what that track's about.
Okay.
Crypt of the Blasphemous. That's again, it's similar in the way that it's about sort of like, how we've sort of turned against the earth. Like, imagine the earth like is our god, or that's where we come from, and we've sort of turned against it in the way that we're treating it really badly. And sort of Crypt is about like how this will sort of become our tomb in the end, and we're sort of like condemning ourselves, like, again, like Virulence, like inhibiting our potential. We're sort of condemning ourselves to not live up to our full potential by turning against our creator. The track after that is White Noise, which is about sort of like not being able to see what's important for just, like unimportant, just garbage, just like filling your peripheral vision, sort of like, I don't know if, like, I'm personally not really into things like social media, and so I just don't get the appeal of it, because whenever I go on, I just think, like, who cares about half? It's just nonsense.
You're in the wrong business, mate. Bands is that's 24/7.
Yeah, I know.
It feels like it with some of them anyway.
And like anyone I talk to is just like, oh, you need to do all this for your social media presence. I'm just like,
I can't be fucking asked.
Yeah, I just want to shred. I'm not interested. But yeah, that's sort of like missing what's important, because there's just so much else going on that just doesn't matter, and you're just missing the important things. Too Close to the Sun, obviously, is the title track, which encompasses like the whole sort of album. And it's sort of saying, we know that we're sort of pushing things too far in regards of, again, like climate change and expenditure of natural resources. We know that we're pushing the planet to its limits, and yet we continue to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that the kind of metaphorical Icarus reference? Is that we've been told if you keep doing this, you're going to burn and die. Yeah, we keep getting closer, and
we keep doing it. Yeah, that's sort of the overall theme of the album, I guess.
And Suicide Pact.
So that's one of my favourites to play. That's sort of about being like how people, like, obviously I'm trying to, raise awareness or whatever. I have a voice in music, and I'm using that to try and, like I say, talk to people about these issues. And it's not just me, obviously there's hundreds and thousands of people around the world trying to change things like this. But Suicide Pact is about how, like, it feels a lot of the time like the people that actually have the ability to change things don't really care. Like, I don't know, like, let's say a CEO of an oil company is more interested in their profits than they are going, right, oil's destroying this planet, I can't continue using this, but it makes me a lot of money. And so that's sort of someone that has the ability to change things, and they choose not to, and they're sort of like dragging the rest of us down with them, because they go, oh, that's, a huge issue that affects the planet, and go, but I can't change that personally. I can't do something about that. And the person that can doesn't want to. And they're sort of like killing us both at the same time.
What's next? Buried?
Buried, that's about sort of like, it's quite a dark one, I guess, on the album. That's about like how if we continue down this sort of path and just destroy ourselves, that's about hoping that sort of any sort of extraterrestrial life that might be out there never discovers the Earth and sees what we did, and like never learns, of what we did, or what kind of people we were. Sort of taking the secrets to the grave.
There lies a human race, the bunch of idiots.
That's one way of putting it. Yeah. Then Husk is sort of about how I'm self-aware that a lot of what I'm saying here is like really negative, and sort of like I used to be more, upbeat about this, but over the years I just seen how we're just constantly going downhill. I'm like, why is nobody listening? Why is nobody trying to change? And so that's sort of that's like I say, a self-aware sort of, I know that a lot of these tracks and a lot of what I'm saying is like quite negative. And it's like, I wasn't always like this, I swear.
You were doing happy pop punk a couple of years ago, where you kind of, this is where it's led you to.
Yeah, that's the one. And then Defiant right at the end is just sort of like saying, if you are, someone that's trying to make a difference, don't stop. Don't let anything sort of get you down. Keep fighting it. Keep, if you're, like I say, if you're fighting for whether it's, more renewable energy sources, or if it's for animal rights, or, rights for, race or whatever, you just keep up the fight. Don't stop. Don't let anyone dishearten you. That's sort of the last track, and what I would hope like is the final message that people would take away from the album when listening to it. Which,
that's your positive,
right at the end.
That's your positive spin out the back of the negativity of it all.
Yeah, my token positive track on the album.
So where does that all, obviously lyrical content's, often very personal, and people take, mixture of everything from, Dungeons and Dragons and comic books and kind of Satanism, and there's the breadth and depth of thrash and death metal lyrics are unfathomable, really. But kind of, where does it all come from? Have you got a vested interest in all that stuff? Is that you studied anything to do with environment, or is it just kind of your place in the world?
Yeah, no, I've never studied anything like that, but it's always been something that I've sort of, it just feels like common sense when you go, oh, such a thing is destroy it. Well, sorry.
I'll never catch on. Common sense doesn't work. That's why we're fucked as a race.
Yeah, I mean, you just go, oh, if we continue, the way that we are, the planet's going to die. You go, okay, so we should change then. People don't. You go, well, what? Why? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, like, when I was younger, bands like Gojira really stood out to me. Oh man, it's heavy, which is what I like, and they're singing about the kind of things that I'm interested in. So that would probably be another influence that I didn't mention earlier, especially for like lyrical content. But yeah, I've never studied anything. I just sort of, I don't get why you wouldn't be interested in preserving. Like we can't go anywhere else. I don't.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we can't.
The pictures of Mars didn't look too good. I don't quite.
No, like I said, we only have the one planet right now.
Is it a balance between kind of getting the message out there, but I guess not being preachy, because there's always a risk, isn't there? If you're kind of on a soapbox because you're on the stage and you've putting music out, so you've got your voice to be heard, but at the same time, no one wants to turn up to a gig and be lectured about throwing the plastic bottles in the corner, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's something that I never sort of like go off on a rant in between songs or anything. I keep it to the lyrical content.
Yeah, you're not like, this one's about why you fuckers are killing us.
Yeah, I mean, Gojira did do that, but not to that extent, obviously. But they mentioned, about like preservation of oceans and things, and that's fine. I don't have an issue with it. It's obviously an important matter, but I personally would rather just keep it to the lyrical content and almost like not waste any time in between songs. I don't like going to a gig and they're talking for 5 minutes, whatever, between the track. Play an extra track within that time. I want to get the most amount of music at a show.
Yeah, I guess that depends on where you are in your career as well. And if it sounds like you're slightly the reluctant front man. You're one of the no one else could do it, so I did it myself rather than be. That is pretty much how I came to be the front man. Yeah. So I think there's a nice blend. Sometimes having that crowd interaction really works, but as you say, sometimes it's like, stop fucking preaching and play, play some more riffs.
Like you say, it's trying to find that balance between like, I feel as though if you've got a voice, you should use it for something worthwhile. Because I don't like songs like, if you put the radio on and here's a pop song about going to a club and having a good time, that just doesn't like click with me at all. I don't care about that. I feel like if you've got a voice that lots of people are listening to, you should make like sure you say something worthwhile. But at the same time, like you say, you don't want to be just preaching all the time. I don't want to just preach in between tracks or anything.
So there's no pizza party beer drinking thrash.
No,
you're not going to do a kind of a toxic waltz for us or anything like that.
No, nothing planned anyway.
Never say never.
That's it, yeah.
So you touched on it a bit earlier. What about the? Although you got delayed, how was this recorded? Is this is this a mixture of studio and kind of pro home equipment, or is it all studio based?
No, only the drums were done in studio. That's the sort of one thing that we can't do from home. So we did the drums with I don't know if anyone's mentioned that. We did the drums with Carl Brewer from Mixed Devil in Colne, just near me and Chris. It's like one junction away. And then everything else was done from home. Me and Rick both use Kempers, so we recorded our own guitar tracks from home. Connor did his stuff from home as well, and we just sort of like put everything together on a hard drive. And then I did the vocals at our producer's house. Only the drums done in studio.
And then what about kind of mixing and mastering and all that sort of stuff? Do you send it away, or you kind of DIY on that as well?
No. Just took the hard drive with all the instruments on to Rob, our producer's place, set everything up there, recorded the vocals with him, and then he just kept everything and mixed it from home.
Okay, so he did mix and master, did he?
Yeah, he's done both of our albums. Rob's been a like solid producer throughout. So
thinking kind of a bit wider of, I'll use the word Greater Manchester in the loosest possible term, but that kind of northwest. What's the kind of scene like at the moment? Obviously, COVID permitted, but what's the kind of the scene like in the general area?
I mean, the scene in Manchester is like always really good. There's plenty of places to play, and there's a good following there. We had the chance to do a live stream, our first ever one that the 0161 guys from Manchester invited us to.
Yeah, so James and James. Yeah.
And obviously they're trying to do their best to, keep the underground scene going. But obviously it's especially tough right now because you can't really do anything other than a live stream. That's the only option at the moment.
So did you do that, or was that just on the cards?
Yeah, we did one last year.
Okay.
Right. I think it was their last one of the year that we did.
Okay.
In December.
And how did that go? Was that a bit of a weird environment? 'Cause obviously you're not getting the energy from the crowd.
It's strange. Like, if you introduce a track or whatever, there's no one there. You're just talking to a camera or something. That was really weird. So I prepared what I was going to say beforehand, because there's no sort of like, you can't bounce off the audience's vibe or whatever because they don't exist. You can't see them there. So I prepared what I was going to say in advance, but it is strange not having anyone to talk to other than the organisers and like the photographer. Drew was there, and that was it really.
So, who's that? Drew Scott was there, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, so at least you got some nice photos from it, because Drew always takes a nice promo shot.
Yeah, we've worked with Drew loads of times. He did both our promo shots he did all the promo shots for our first album. He's done all the promo shots for our second album, and then he's done all the sort of like album booklet, CD case layout, and he's used his promo shots for all the lyrical pages. He's done all that for us, and he's saved me so many times when just I've needed an edit at the last minute. I'm like, Drew, please, can you just do such a thing? And they're like, yeah, it's no problem. I always feel bad because I'm like, there's always something else. I go, right, everything's done now.
Except for,
oh crap, I've not done such a thing. Drew, can you do such a thing? Yeah, give us an hour. It'd be no problem. He saved me so many times.
No, and you need people like that who, although they've got a business to run, they care about the music and they care about their bands as well. And it's, it's really, it's kind of needed in every scene, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. He's like really into it. Drew's just top. He's the man to go to if you want photos near here.
Yeah. So what about kind of further afield? How, you said you went up to, what did you go to Scotland for? Was that a...
Yeah, we played with Reaper in Scotland. They were playing and they invited us to open.
Liverpool Reaper?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had those lads on. They talk fast.
Yeah. He's Dan's something else, isn't he?
And Scouse Dave. Yeah, I had those two on. That was an entertaining night in the studio. Yeah,
they're always fun to hang about with. Just going up to Scotland and just hanging with them. It was a great time.
So was that just you two? Was there any of the local bands as well?
No, there was us on first, then 2 local bands in between, and then Reaper headlined it.
That's cool. So it's a northwest trip north.
Yeah, like a takeover.
Yeah. Brilliant. So what about where else do you fancy? Have you got, kind of, have you done Metal to the Masses, or, you kind of fancy getting a bit further afield? We did one year, got to the final, but never got all the way, sort of thing. Obviously, Bloodstock would be amazing to play. Obviously, that's probably like the dream for a lot of underground metal bands. That's like the pinnacle in this country, isn't it? It's like the biggest metal festival I've ever. Yeah, before you really make it, that's the kind of way of making it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. For me personally, I would love to play Brutal Assault. That's like, I watch all their videos on their channel and stuff. I've never been, but I really, really want to go, especially with the lineup that they've got for this year. Yeah. It's like perfect.
Yeah, I don't think this year is probably going to be achievable, is it? I was just chatting to a couple of guys earlier about this, because there was lots of talk, even though I've got to use last year's Bloodstock tickets up yet, but we did talk about, going and do a Brutal Assault. But I think until kind of borders are open properly, I think it's going to be a difficult run.
I've not bought anything for it just because, like you say, I don't know what the travel restrictions are going to be like. I don't even know if it's going to happen. Something might happen between now and then. They might have to postpone it again. Yeah. But yeah, in an ideal world, I would love to go, and I would love to play. That would be like top of my list right now.
And what about kind of rest of the place in the UK? Is it kind of, do you want to, is London still a big pull, or is that kind of not the pinnacle?
I've done London with previous band, and that was it was like packed out. London would be a great one to play. I would love to go back down there at some point. There's a few places in Manchester. Like, is Factory still about? That was always I've seen a few bands out there.
Yeah, to be honest, post COVID, you don't know what's still there, do you? It's kind of, I know that's because my daughter's at uni in Manchester, so I always, when I come up that direction, I always kind of try and do an 0161 showcase and all that sort of stuff. But like, I know the Alma's closed down, where I've been a couple of times, and
we've done the Alma a few times.
I think the landscape is going to look very different. Kind of come the summer.
We've played Rebellion in Manchester, which is a great venue. I've been to loads of gigs there over the years.
Yeah, it's a legendary one, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen so many bands there.
New album. Do you want to give it a bit of a plug, how people, when it's out, when people can get hold of it, etc., etc.?
So, Too Close to the Sun releases on March 26th. It's available all the sort of usual places you would imagine, like Spotify, Amazon, iTunes and Apple Music, any sort of streaming sites. Physical copies are available through our merch store and our Bandcamp, which has got all our t-shirts and patches, and anything that we sell is available on our Bandcamp.
Cool. And social, if people want to, even though you don't like it.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. Should people go, why will I follow him? Facebook is just /Bloodmores. Instagram is Bloodmores Official. And then all our videos and things are obviously on our YouTube channel.
Alex, good luck with the new album. Hopefully you guys will be up and gigging soon. And hope it all goes well, and look forward to see how people react to the new album.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
This is Daniel from Thrasher Wolf, and you are listening to the UK Thrashers radio show.
Okay, that was Bloodmores, and taken from their brand new album that's out today, Too Close to the Sun. This is Suicide Pact.
Insignificant.
Okay, next up is a band that you will see supporting our mate Siderian in September. This is Trendkill from their album Black Moon. This is Playing God. Okay, next up we have a band that featured on Moshin The Roof On Volume 1, taken from their album Origins. This is Siderian and Sneak Attack. Okay, and that about wraps up this show. Thank you to everyone that's let us play their music. Thank you for Bloodmores for joining us in the studio. And of course, you guys for keeping on listening. If you haven't ordered Moshin The Roof On Volume 2 yet, please consider it. It's only 10 quid, 30 tracks. Head over to ukthrashers.bandcamp.com and pick yourselves a copy up, out on the 9th of April. To finish off the show, we've got a band that submitted their debut single, The Plight, to Moshin The Roof On Volume 1. This is our friends, Scarred by Truth.
I have something to give.